Hi guys, it's me Double M with another edition of the Scent Game. Last video we looked at top 10 masculine scents. I was previewing my own collection and this time it's no different, except I'm not looking at the most masculine scents, but I'm looking at scents that will help you get that extra compliment factor. I'm talking about scents that are sensual, seductive, compliment getting, appealing, and stimulate the senses. Let's look at my list of my top 10 most seductive scents for men in this edition of the Scent Game. Now, I'm very proud of the scents that I'm about to talk about today because these are scents that across the board have gotten me compliment after compliment after compliment. But it's not just the compliments that I'm getting, but the types of compliments that I'm getting. And if you're a man who's watching this today, hopefully these are some of them that will help you, push the needle a little bit in terms of your appeal and make you that much more attractive to your significant other. And if you don't have a significant other, maybe these would be the ones that will help you just move things along a little bit. Before I get going into my top 10 of the scents that I believe are the most compliment getting, the most sensual and most appealing, I want to make two honorable mentions before I get into the top 10. This could easily have been a top 12, but I want to look at two scents which for me are like the OG. These are like the ones that have paved the way to allow some of these other scent guys to come into the game. And the scents that I'm talking about are Calvin Klein's Obsession and Jean-Paul Gaultier's La Mau. These two are, in my opinion, the kings of compliment getting and sensuality, especially Calvin Klein Obsession. If you look at this bottle, you can see I've had this for a minute, like several years, probably 10 years plus. And if you don't know what Obsession is, this is like in the 80s, it came out around 1987. This is such a well done, well balanced scent that it has so much stuff going on. If I was to give you note by note everything that's going on in here, all I know is that when you spray this on, you're like that sophisticated, well-rounded, well-groomed, well-spoken gentleman who is also extremely appealing, extremely inviting, and timeless. All right, that's what I get from Calvin Klein's Obsession. Now that we've gotten our honorable mentions out of the way, let me dive into my top 10 most compliment getting sensual scents for a guy. And coming in at my number 10 is none other than Armani Code Profumo. This guy is one of the flankers of the Armani Code range by Giorgio Armani, because there's Emporio Armani and Giorgio Armani. This is by Giorgio Armani. And this Profumo scent is one of those that is, I would classify this as let's say you're going out to an event. Maybe you're going out where there's going to be a lot of people, there's music, there's a vibe, and you want to be noticed. But it's not too powerful, but it's when you get up close to someone is when someone will be like, wow, what is that? And I guess it's because it's a mixture of sweetness and really masculine scents. You've got sweetness at the top, which is like your green mandarin, your green apple, and then it starts to blend in with this orange blossom good stuff with nutmeg, and then it evens out very nicely with your amber, your leather, and just it's tonka bean. There's tonka bean in here, which is very edible. And you'll find that with most of these scents that I'm talking about today, a lot of them have a very edible quality. The ingredients are very edible, gourmand they call it in the fragrance game. They're very gourmandy and edible. So coming in for me at my number 10 of your top 10 compliment getting scents, which are very sensual, Armani Code Profumo. Coming in at my number 9 is a scent that even my very good friend and the guy who's actually taking the videos of this, he's like, when I sprayed this on myself and on him, he was like, what on earth is that? Can I go get myself a bottle? And I'm talking about Mont Blanc's Legend Night. Now, again, this is from a line of different flankers, the Mont Blanc Legend range, but Legend Night for me, it occupies a special place in my heart. There's a friend of mine who he had sprayed this on himself. I'd given him a ride home after a function, and he left his jacket in my car, and my car was it had this beautiful, beautiful smell. And I was like, what is that? And when I finally tracked him down and gave him back his jacket, he told me it's Legend Night. And he told me the compliments that he's getting from this are amazing. And so I had to get a bottle for myself. And for sure, this is an exquisite, exquisite scent. The notes here are bergamot, sage, cardamom, and then it evens out very nicely into this apple, vanilla-y type, I don't know, sweetness, but the base is where it gets cleaned up very nicely. There's this thing, it's called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly. It's like akegai wood or akagai wood. I'm not sure what that is, but it's a very woody base, and it's not just wood as well. You've got very masculine things at the base: patchouli, vetiver. So for me, as much as a lot of these scents, again, very much like Legend Night, have this edible quality, they also have a rounded out masculinity about them. And for me, coming in at my number 9 is this amazing scent by Mont Blanc, Legend Night. Number 8 in my collection of my most sensual compliment getting scents. Ooh, it's a toss between, but I have to go with Stronger With You by Emporio Armani. Not Giorgio Armani, Emporio Armani, Stronger With You. What is very distinct about this scent is not just its opening, but also as it continues. I think, again, out of all of these scents, for me, one of the longest lasting, and not just projection, but longest lasting scents in this range would be Armani Stronger With You. There's violet and pink pepper that comes out right at the beginning, very, very nice. And then there's this sage that mixes in, and what you get forever, as far as this scent is concerned, is that crystallized chestnut. It's very, if you're talking about nuts and vanilla, and it's a very nutty, I would say this scent is delicious. Like you could eat the person who has this on. So for me, my number 8 in the collection of top 10 most sensual compliment getting scents would be Armani Stronger With You. Number 7 for me is one of my favorite scents of all time. And this, again, many of these scents have flankers. When I talk about flankers, I mean, if it's Armani Code, you have Code Absolu, Code the Original, Code Profumo, different ones. Same for Bulgari's Man Black Orient. This is from the Bulgari Man range. There's Bulgari Man the Original, there's Man in Black, there's Man Wood Essence. There's so many of them, and you'll see that they all have this very beautiful, distinct shaped bottle. And for me, this Black Orient comes in at my number 7 because when you can't miss this scent, all right? I mean, the base is what catches you the minute you walk past someone, because it's a very oody, very spicy, very oriental scent, but that's in the base. Right at the top, you have a lot of beautiful oriental, aromatic, spicy type notes. The one thing that you can tell about this is that this is not a scent that you can pull off unless you know that you're going somewhere with an agenda, all right? You can't wear this, you can't wear this in the office. You can, but chances are it's like you're not there to work, you're there to look for something, okay? Because right from the beginning, it hits you with this rum and cardamom, and then there's this mix of different rose textures in there, which is very, you would think, why would a man be wearing rose? But it's not a feminine rose. It's a very strong aromatic rose, and then that's where the oud and the other spices come in. And so if you're gonna wear Black Orient, please be prepared to know that you will get what you're looking for, if you know what I mean. Like I said, guys, for me, as much as this is a top 10 list in an order that I think makes sense as far as the top 10 most sensual compliment getting scents for men is concerned, each one of these scents could easily stand as a top 1 in your collection. They're all so amazing, so compliment getting, so sensual, really, really nice. And even putting this particular scent at number 6 is, for me, it makes no sense, but we have to keep going. So for me, coming in at number 6 is a favorite in everybody's line. Everybody has talked about this. This is La Nuit de l'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. And this scent is sexiness, it is confidence, I picture someone wearing this at a very expensive restaurant, all right? Very, very expensive when you want to impress your lady, when you want to take her out on a nice date, when you want to, you know, make sure that you look like you're a man who knows that he's got it, all right? And for me, La Nuit is one of those that is, it's definitely not, you know, going to the office type of thing. Although you can pull, in fact, all of these, you could pull them off, but I'm talking about close contact. And for me, La Nuit is one of those that, again, very much like many of these, comes from a flanker. The original L'Homme of YSL is an amazing scent. And what is very distinct about this scent is the cardamom. The cardamom in here is, cardamom is one of those spices which is it's so good. And a lot of these scents contain cardamom, but the most cardamom sensual scent that for me, it definitely has to be La Nuit. But it's not just cardamom. There's cedar, there's vetiver, there's cumin, there's lavender. But it's not complicated, but very, very satisfying. So coming in at my number 6 is La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL. All right, top 5 then, and let's not waste any more time. This was difficult, but I have to make a decision, and I would have to say that coming in at my number 5 is one by the guy who is all about trying to please everyone and their mothers, Tom Ford Noir Extreme. If you don't get compliments wearing this, then there must be something wrong with you. Either you're just a very upsetting human being, like you're just out to upset, because there's no way you cannot get compliments when you wear Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. Do you know, the minute I walk past someone, first of all, this is the compliment that they give me. Wow, you smell good. It's like I want to eat you. You smell like a cheesecake. And I think that's because this has kulfi. For those who don't know, that kulfi, which is an Indian dessert, very milky based dessert, it's part of the scent. It's actually in the mid of this scent, but that's not the only thing that catches you about Tom Ford's Noir Extreme. There is saffron, cardamom, nutmeg, orange blossom, vanilla, and the kulfi again. Like, kulfi is made of pistachio, so there's a little bit of nuttiness, a little bit of sweetness from the vanilla, but it's very masculine as well. I mean, while it has a very pungent, almost androgynous unisex kind of vibe, which, you know, and the female version doesn't smell too far from this. In fact, you could interchange the female and the male version quite nicely. There is a manliness about this, which I guess comes because of the woody base, but Tom Ford's Noir Extreme is a must-have. If you don't have this in your collection, please do yourself a favor, get it. Coming in at my number 5. Now guys, we're down to number 4, and this, in fact, everything from here on out is such a difficult decision because I love all of these scents in their own right. And for me, each of them represents something different in my life. So for me, coming in at my number 4 is probably the most expensive out of all of these. It's the niche, it's one of the niche out of this designer collection. And that is from the house of Parfums de Marly, Layton. Layton. And my brother, if you're watching this, because my brother took my first bottle because he smelt it on me and he was like, listen, dude, I don't know what we're discussing here, but I gotta have this. And I don't blame him, because this is one of the greatest scents I have ever smelled in my life. And I'm not just saying that because, yeah, I have a lot of scents. I have a problem. But for me, out of every single scent that completely blew me away and I had to go back, I thought about it, I dream about it, and I'm sure other people who have complimented me feel the same way. This has to be it. It hits you in the nose. It is such a PDM, Parfum de Marly, this house is known for just taking such quality ingredients and blending them into this concoction. And for me, there's so many others in the range which are really incredible. Herod is very nice, very tobacco fragrance, very tobacco-based fragrance. Percival is nice, but this Layton is my favorite. I love this fragrance. It's got bergamot and apple in the beginning, and then there's this jasmine vanilla blend, and at the base there's this wood, this gaiac wood, it's sandalwood, it's amber, it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous scent, and it lasts. It performs like no one's business. This, I have some experiences with this. I don't think we can really talk about too much of my experiences with all of these fragrances, but let me just tell you, if you're looking for compliments and you're looking for something that will absolutely stand out, because nothing in the world smells like Layton, try this out. Again, small caveat, it is on the expensive side, very much like Creed, the Creed range. Parfums de Marly are very niche oriented scents, so just a word of caution that this is an expensive scent, but it is very worth it. And coming in at my number 4, Layton by Parfums de Marly. All right, down to the top 3. Difficult, but not really, because for me, each of these scents are special and occupy a very special place in my life. Coming in at my number 3 is none other than, you can't have a list of compliment-getting sensual scents without having Dolce & Gabbana, The One. And the one that I have here is the exclusive edition Royal Night, The One. Not too far from the original The One, which, as anybody who is in the fragrance game knows, The One is one of those scents that are just timeless, sexy, epic scents. Dolce & Gabbana is The One forever. You ask anybody, it's one of those amazing scents, and there's a reason for that, because oh my goodness, this is sensuality in a bottle. It is just, and there's so many flankers to the Dolce & Gabbana The One. There's the one that came out now in 2020, the Intense. There's the original, and for me, the mix of cardamom and basil and nutmeg, and there's so much going on in here. For me, if you know that you and your partner you're in a good space and you want to just love each other and know each other better, there's nothing better than The One. And I mean, you know, word of caution, use this sparingly, because it is extremely appealing, it is extremely sexy, and it is in my number 3, Dolce & Gabbana, The One, Royal Night. All right, top 2 then. And again, all of these scents could easily be my number 1, but we have to do a top 2 because there's so many to choose from. And coming in at my number 2 is none other than one of the OGs of compliment getting. I think many people like to compare this with Dior Sauvage, but this is just a little bit more, in my opinion, a little bit more refined, a little bit more sexy, a little bit more appealing, a little bit more attractive, and for sure, more compliment getting than Dior Sauvage. Dior Sauvage is a masculine scent, it is a blue scent, but the Ambroxan makes it a little bit more punchy. This, Bleu de Chanel by Chanel, I've got the EDP, the Eau de Parfum version. This for me at my number 2 has to be one of the greatest scents to have ever come out in the designer world. I love this scent. Anybody who has smelled this loves it. It's timeless. It's almost become boring because of how good it is and how many people have it. But for me, I can't get tired of this. It is just such a beautiful thing. Some people think that it's more of a summer based because of the opening, which is very grapefruit. The grapefruit is really loud at the opening, but you could wear this literally all season, all year round. You could wear this as a signature scent, but it is extremely, extremely sensual. It is gorgeous. This is the type of scent I would wear if I was a guy and I was going to propose to a lady, or I was going to meet their parents, or I wanted to just make a good impression to everybody. I would wear this. So anybody who's out there and they're trying to get, you know, in the good books of their in-laws, or even the good books of the friends and family of whoever your significant other is, I strongly suggest that the Bleu de Chanel EDP is part of your collection. Very nice blend. Ginger, grapefruit, cardamom, patchouli, very, very beautiful, very well composed, very balanced, sexy, incredible scent. Coming in at my number 2, Bleu de Chanel by the House of Chanel. Finally down to number 1, and this, it was a hard decision because for me, like, Layton could easily have been in there, La Nuit could easily have been in there, all of them could easily have been in there, but we have to pick one. And for me, since I smelt the original scent of this particular fragrance house, I knew that if I wanted to prove a point as far as being attractive or appealing was concerned, I didn't have to look no further. And what I'm talking about is Viktor & Rolf's Spice Bomb Extreme. This scent is epicness defined, it is spiciness defined, it is sexual energy defined, it is just an amazing, uncomplicated, straight to the point, beautifully done fragrance. The original Spice Bomb was amazing. I smelled it the first time and I was like, wow. And everywhere that I have gone, I have looked for this scent, I have asked about it, I have looked for it, and I'm gonna hit you up with where I got this from later on as we close out this video, because this scent, for me, it epitomizes you're at home with your significant other, you're Netflix and chilling, or you could easily step out, go grab a pizza, come back, or you could go out for a nice hangout at the beach or at the, well, not at the beach because it's actually quite a very powerful scent. So you'd maybe go to like, you know, go on a walk somewhere, but it doesn't matter because it's romantic, it is warm, it is inviting, it's cuddle up with your person type. Spice Bomb Extreme is one of those just amazing, amazing scents, and that for me is what made it to my #1 in my list. The notes in here are not complicated, but they are. Opening, lavender, nice, warm, inviting. Then it goes into this vanilla, black pepper discussion. Then there's this tobacco. There's a tobacco in there which mixes in with all of these spices, which is just, oh, gorgeous. So for me, coming in at my #1 is Viktor & Rolf's Spice Bomb Extreme. You could get the original Spice Bomb or you could go for this extreme version. It doesn't really matter. For me, this has a little bit more romantic energy to it than the original Spice Bomb, but either way, both Spice Bombs are amazing. So coming in at my #1 is Viktor & Rolf's Spice Bomb Extreme. Guys, there's so many others that could have been in this list, but that is my top 10 list for your sensual, compliment-getting fragrances. Again, if you enjoyed this and you are in the Nairobi area, pop into Fragrance Lounge. My people there will hook you up. And like I said, there's another group that I've recently gotten involved with, Sierra Perfumes. They're online. You can find them on Instagram. Check out my man Tony. He hooked me up with this and several other amazing things in his lineup. Really original, great smelling scents. And yeah, I wish you all the very best in your compliment getting ways. Thank you so much for watching The Scent Game with me, Double M. Remember, all I want you to do is get yours.